Yo, I don't think we should talk about this.
Come on, why not?
People might misunderstand what we're trying to say, you know?
It's fun to watch.
Come on,
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about walks and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex for now. To the people at home or in the crowd, it keeps coming up anyhow. Don't decoy, avoid, or make void the topic, cause that ain't gonna stop it.
Now, when we talk about sex on the radio and video shows, many will know anything goes. Let's tell it like it is and how it could be, how it was and of course how it should be. Those who think it's silly have a choice, pick up the needle, press pause, or turn the radio off. Will that stop us now? I doubt. Alright then, come on, spin. Let's talk about sex.
We are going to talk about M.A.C.S, in case you didn't figure that out. M.A.C.S is maximum adjacent cut specification, which means you cannot have a very shallow cut next to a deep cut. And I'm going to show you and explain why you cannot exceed the max. So what we're using here is a Schlage. I'm going to go ahead and cut this footage on. And I'm going to cut it on an SC1, and what I've done is I've pinned up a cylinder to 060708. And I'm going to cut that key, and I'm going to show you what happens when you exceed the max. Now, Schlage on most lab kits says 6, but it's actually 7 if you're using, Schlage uses its own wheel, and it's just a hair bit narrower, so you can do Schlage with a max of 7 if you have that wheel that you're cutting. And most people use the 14MC, the common wheel, which is used for most common, you know, Schlage, Weiser, Quickset, all that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and cut this key to 060708. And I'm going to show you in this pinned up cylinder why you really can't do that for a functional key, for a key that's going to be used often. So, alright, we've got 0, 6, 0, 7, 0, 8. Okay. Alright, let's move over to this camera and let's talk about this key. Oh, gotta scoot down here. Alright, now it looks like an awfully cool key that would be very hard to pick or bypass. But we can see, oh my goodness, we can see if the camera would focus, huh? Alright, we see the first cut is a 0, the next one's a 6, the next one's a 0, and the next one's a 7. Alright, since I'm using the 14MC wheel, we can see the 607, or the second, third, fourth cut, leaves just a little bit of a flat on it. Now, if we were using that Schlage wheel, I can't think of the number of that wheel, it would leave a little bit more of a flat, and these angles would be a little bit more sharp to let you get away with that. But then when we see the 0, or the 6, I'm sorry, the fourth cut 7, and then 0, and then 8, which exceeds the max no matter which way you would be going about it. 0 and 8 is 8, so you're exceeding the max. We can see that it leaves a sharp point on the key. Very, very sharp point. There's no flat. And as you know, that pin has to sit on the flat of the key so that it does not do this. Again, we've keyed up the cylinder to 060708. And we're going to put the key in without brushing it off. And what do we think is going to be happening here? Okay. So our 8, there it goes. I'm going to try to move this somewhere where I can get it better. There we go. Okay, so when we exceeded the max on the 5th, 6th position, it drops the key down just a bit past the shear line. I don't know why that's sticking up. Must be the plug. See the problem with that? So while it may not be a problem now, it will cause the key to catch. But over time of running this key in and out, what's going to happen after about a couple of years of that, see it's already, I'll tell you what, I didn't brush this key, so let me brush it off real quick. So as you do this 100 times, 200 times, whatever the case is, that sharp point is going to start sinking more and more and causing this plug to catch. So if we turn around and we simulate a couple of years of wear on this key, so about a year goes by that you use this lock every day, and this is starting to round down. We can see it going further and further past, dropping further and further past the shear line. And that is going to cause that cylinder to hang up right there, which using it a lot, you know, it smooths out the chamber ridge a little bit, but it is definitely going to cause problems. And then when you go and copy it, so you take the key in to get copied, and while most key machines are for locksmiths are aligned to copy a key very accurately, very often some aren't, especially when they're going and taking them to hardware stores or big box stores. And typically the problem with those is they're cutting too deep. So while this copy may be okay, we can automatically see, even with a good machine that copies fine, we can see that we automatically drop down further there, and that's because of that sharp point. So if we just made a key off of that key that had been used for a year that had wear, we have an even deeper issue and problem there. And if we go ahead and cut that last one, say we're going to go ahead and drop that 0 to a 9. We can see, watch the side of the wheel. 9. And just for a point of reference, let's go like over here and do 4 into a 9. Alright, so we got a bunch of sharp points on it now. And we'll grab the plug and we'll switch those pins to 9 and 9. And just doing this to get a okay, huge problem, huge problem. I cut 4 and 6 down, which turned our third position into a sharp point, which again will wear down, and seriously cut down the 5th position from where it originally was. And obviously that is going to probably not work in the lock, because of when you cut that angle, as you cut, the sides of the wheels interfere with the next cut and it drops it significantly. So that is why you cannot ignore your maximum adjacent cut specifications. They're there for a reason and should be followed as much as possible, especially when you're dealing with locks that are going to be used, because you can see what happens when you don't. Cuts away the tip. So anyway, that is it on M.A.C.S. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, y'all should all know this, but on every pinning kit that's made, I guess I could just take the phone instead of the whole tripod. Oh, my tripod fell over. So on this chart for Schley, we see ED, which means effective diameter, TFC, 2 first cut, 231, between the cuts, 156, max 6. Now I think this is an old kit, but now I think it says 7. And then we have the invert 237 bottom pin to use as top pin, presumably if you violate your max, which gives you a point that faces down so that it'll ride across those deep cuts, which you don't want to do. No. So again, all manufacturers, if y'all have a pinning kit, will tell you what your max should be, and please follow your max. Thanks for watching, guys.